Hey guys, welcome back to Terrafirmagreg. In today's episode, we are going to go over the kitchen. It needs a remodel. We definitely need to update it. And also, there's a secret project behind me. It involves the goats, and will reveal what I've been working on. So, let's get right to it. Yeah, we're down to 8 sandwiches. So what I want to do now is upgrade the kitchen. Because we're in the electric age. We should not be cooking with an old ancient brick stove. No. We need to make some other cool electronics. If we look at bread, though, like the rye bread, that's what we like to make the most. You can bake it in an oven, or you can make it in a food oven. So that's what we're going to invest in, as a basic electric oven. I think we only need one oven. So we do need the grill, because that is part of it, yes. So let's pick that up. Let's make a piston, robotic arm. All right. Machine hole. Oh, there's an aluminum rod. Okay. And I just need the cured top, and that will be it. So we could just break this off right here like this and make a basic electric oven. There we go. That is an electric oven, which we could use if it had power. I mean, we could just use the batteries that we have, but nah, I want to make it more permanent. So I've got plans. This right here, we are not using anymore, because we have the latex that we just collect down south, and we use the machines in the factory, so we really don't need this. Which means the windmill, that's not going to be put to use for anything. So my thought was, let's put an alternator on here. We'll use that windmill to turn the wind power into EV to power our electric appliances in the kitchen. So that's the idea. We have the oven for the bread, but what do you put in the oven to get the bread? The dough. How do you get the dough? The food processor, of course. So we also need to make a food processor. Okay, tin cables, I'm gonna explode those this time so I get the right stuff. The rubber ring, yeah, explode that so we get enough rubber. Vat, we already have a vat. I think we can use one of the two. We don't use both of them at the same time. A steel whisk, it's an extruder, but I don't think we can do that. Yeah, it's medium voltage extruder, so we're gonna have to do this one. We are not using both, so, oh, oops. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Not using both, so we'll just take one. We're gonna need a diamond. Do we have a diamond? Look at that, we do. We got lots of diamonds. I'm rich. Where'd my wrench go? I dropped it on the ground. Why? What? It's so weird. Okay. Because I got so much stuff, that's why. Alright, conveyor module, done. The steel whisk, yes. Okay. It's back in. Machine hole. Then finally, the basic food processor. Alright. So now we got the oven and the food processor, but we need the thing that will turn the electricity, or turn the wind power into electricity. Convert the SU from your steam engines or wind power. Unfortunately, alternators convert stress into a different electricity, forge energy. So we'll need an energy converter as well. Good to know. An alternator and a converter. And then we'll also go to the alternators. Well, let's see. We're going to have the 2 appliances plus the other one. So let's do the 4A. Yeah, we're going to need 4 amps. We're going to go for the alternator first. So let's see what we need to build this. Ultra low voltage coil. Magnetic rod 32 times. Or a magnetic rod with 16. Yep, I like the 16. Use half as much. And what am I missing? It has to be set to a 1. Okay, there we go. I think most recipes are set to a 1. There's only the different ones in case there's multiple recipes for the same ingredients, but different outcomes. All right, now we can make the alternator. Great. And that one's done. Let's do this next. Should be pretty easy, actually. 4x tin cables. Actually, I think I might have already had some of those, but that's okay. And there's the converter. All right. So we'll have the windmill, turning the alternator, converting it into 4x energy. That does mean that we're going to need some of those cables to pass the energy around. So we're going to need all of our tin cables and a whole bunch more as well. And time to take all of this down. We've got some latex in here, so maybe we could... I should have grabbed some of those barrels. Grab a barrel or two. Alright, grab all of that. Alright, let's grab all of this stuff here. Ooh, we need some rhyolite cobble, unless we want to change the floor. Do we want to make it something else? Now that we're going to have a modern kitchen, I think I want to change the floor. Yep, I do. I want to make it black and white. You know, checker pattern. Could I hide this better? I think I can. And I think I will. Yeah, there's a lot of space here. Alright, because I want to make this look pretty. You know, I don't want a big bulky thing here. I want to make it look nice. Because I could have it come down on the side here. Like that. Then we can put the alternator on and the converter. Overstressed. Okay. 62 consumed at that speed. Okay. So 64 I think is the right speed. Yep, 32 consumed, 32 generated. How much power is that going to make though? Let's put on the converter. Make sure it's pointing the right direction. And we have to hit it with the soft mallet, I think it is. There we go. Changed it to the correct stuff. It's now converting FE to EU. So we could put in a battery buffer as well. In fact, that might be good. Just a little battery buffer. In fact, we already have the small one, which we don't actually use anywhere, so we could use it here. If I'm not mistaken, it is over here plugged in. Yeah. So if we put a battery buffer in there, make sure it's plugged in the right spot. Throw those batteries in. In fact, do we have any? No, we've got those. Okay. Now, let's have the food processor and then the oven. Food processor here, the oven here. Okay, that's getting power, but that's not, because we got to put in some wire. In fact, that's not getting any power either. Okay. There we go. I just had to switch it around. Don't know how much electricity this is actually generating, though. I do want these at that level, which means we are going to have wire. We could have wire below it. All right, there we go. We want this flowing into something. Oh, man, this just takes up so much space. All right, let's test this out. Let's grab this flour out. We're going to move all of our yeast starter into the drum here. And let's say we want to make more yeast. So to make more yeast, we use the food processor on 2. We just add some flour on 2. So let's add some flour. Got this flour right here. And we change it to circuit 2. For now, what we're going to do is keep that barrel at hand. And anytime we want to make more yeast, just do this. Now that is not draining hardly anything at all, so that's good. Maybe what I could do is have another food processor right next to here. One food processor that turns the grain into flour, and then one that turns the flour into bread, and then the bread cooks. So 10 sugar, 10 flour, the yeast, and I think this has to be on 1. Yeah, there we go. And see, now that's going to go into the oven, and is it going to auto cook it? I guess we'll find out. Yes, look at that. Making rye bread auto magically with the convenience of modern electronics. It's like the food processor is a little bit faster than the oven. That's okay. However, the bread is not going down. I wanted it to go down. Unfortunately, it looks like this drawer does not accept stuff to go down into. And oh, wow, it's huge. Okay. That is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Oh, I thought it was going to be a single block. It's a 2x2. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it can hold stuff. A lot of stuff can hold. It can hold things like garlic and bread probably, but it's a little too big. Okay, okay, bear with me. What if, and this is gonna be silly, I'm sure. Okay, no. I'm doing this wrong. I want to put it back here. Put the keg like that. I can still open it. Will it auto fall down? Maybe not. And then I just do that. There we go. It's like a little counter space, right? Yeah. In fact, actually, if I had this over one, then we could store the yeast in here as well as any bread that falls down and sugar and whatever else. Oh, that is so funny. I think I might do that. So you just make a bunch of jars with lids and the fruit and water and sugar, and it'll just automatically do it. I love it. All right, there we go. We got the keg. Now, with this yeast starter, if we go in and we tell it, I want you to go out the bottom, will that work? Okay, and I'm telling it to go down. Food output, auto down, allow input. It only uses 8 EU a tick. It's hardly anything at all. And it looks like it is not going down. That is too bad. I thought it was going to be kind of fun to have a keg full of yeast starter, but nope, I guess not. All right, guys, welcome back to Extreme Home Makeover Kitchen Edition. So, I went a little rampant on getting the kitchen all set up and not recording it because I just wanted to test a bunch of things, and yeah, I got it done. I think it looks a lot better now. The tiled floor, I just used framed cubes just so that the smooth stone would not be affected by gravity, because smooth stone is affected by gravity. I took the beam of smooth stone out here, and so if you just use the framed cubes, then when you put the smooth stone or anything else that's affected by gravity, it will not fall down. And so I made a little nook over here that I can sit down. I think if I right click on this, yeah, I'm sitting down. So we can take a look at me sitting in the corner, eating my lunch, dinner, whatever. It's pretty cool. And, I put some stuff on here, just make it look a little more nice and realistic. There's no like actual use for it, but it looks nice. So we've got the food processors here. I got my system set up where the top one here is basically for making the yeast starter. And behind here, I've got a gold drum, and you can put something called facades on things like drums and pipes and things. And so I put a facade on there so you don't actually see the drum, but it is there. It's right there. And so we've got the basic food processor making the yeast starter. It goes into the drum. And then from there, it goes down into the other food processor where I actually make the dough. And then that stuff is fed through a item pipe that's under here. It goes right into the oven and then is baked. And then from the oven, it goes into this chest. And so making food is going to be so much easier. Also, another fun thing, just to make sure that this never runs out of yeast, because you have to have some yeast to generate more, right? So I also have a pipe going from this gold drum, not only into there, but back up and around and into here. Yep, there it is, normal wood fluid pipe, which I also put a facade on so you don't actually see it. So we've got a nice system for making the yeast starter. We've got a ton of it made. I planted more crops and harvested so that I could make this. And then the oven here, we've got power underneath. This right here is a framed door. Normal hand, open the door. Okay, so this is kind of like a utility area here. We've got the pole coming down into the alternator, into the converter, and then over into the pipes. Well, actually the battery buffer and then the pipes. And so that's all behind there. And then I made this really cool looking, just makes it look like one of those hoods that go over the stove. It's purely aesthetics, but I think it looks pretty cool. And then we've got the other food processor. This one I actually use for doing everything else besides making dough and doing the yeast starter. This is basically just for doing our bread. But if we want to do something like jars. So I had a bunch of jars and I processed the food, the apples here, put them into jars using the food processor. I'll have to show that sometime later on, but it's pretty easy. And I got some other little stuff I put out. We made some of these drawers, cabinets, and everything. It just holds individual items that I might need in the kitchen. And I don't have a fridge yet, but I kind of made this look sort of like a fridge, and I just grabbed all the ice that I had made over in the factory and put it in here. So it's kind of like my fridge for now. And this thing right here is what I'm really, really proud of, because this is my sink. I mean, you got the tripwire hook, make it look like kind of like a little faucet. Now, this is actually an aluminum drum full of water. So if I need anything, like I need to fill up my gold drum for my drinking water, I can come over here and just right click. It'll take water out. And then the water is being replenished because underneath I have a create pump with an infinite water source, and it's just always going and pumping water into this drum. And so it's effectively an infinite water source. And what I did was I took a facade and I gave it an ice texture, because apparently you can put ice on a facade. You can make an ice facade, because that was the closest I could get to water texture, but it kind of looks like it's got water in the sink. I think it would be better if it was like down a little bit more. Tried a few things like a cauldron and a barrel, but none of those would take water from below. The barrel has to be filled from above, and the cauldron wouldn't take any water at all. So yeah, it's an aluminum drum. I think it looks kind of neat. And I've got these are dynamic edge lights on the top, and so I just stuck a bunch of them right here for lighting. Made a couple of kind of like chandeliers, a little bit of edge strip lighting there and here. It just really brightens up the whole place. And I mean, it really looks like a modern kitchen. Over here on this side, I've got 3 barrels with goat milk for doing like cheese processing. So I've got, stuff here. Here's a gold drum that I've got specifically for getting milk. So I'll have to show you the secret project that I was working on. It's in the barn, so we'll have to go in here and you can kind of see it. Yep. There's these little deployers just sticking out everywhere. Although they should all have a bucket, some of them don't. Oh, I know why though. Let's go check it out. That looks like one of the goats escaped. Well, that's interesting. They don't normally escape. Well, I've got this little area down here. We'll go down. This is basically under the barn. I had to put up some supports and dig this out and then put up some wood so that it wouldn't collapse. But basically, I've got a bunch of deployers all set up. Oh, yep. The aluminum drum I've got here is full of milk. That's why. So I've got these deployers set up. Let's see if we can get in a little bit. Crouching down. Okay, so I've got a deployer here. It's being powered and it's going straight up. And underneath it, we've got a brass funnel with a filter on it. And the filter is a wooden bucket with goat milk. So it's just going to constantly go up and up. And as soon as a goat that needs to be milked goes past one of these, it will milk the goat. And then the filter will allow that bucket to fall down. So it'll fall down onto... Let's get off here. Okay. You can see there's a bucket right there. There is an item drain right here. So I have an item drain right underneath every single one of these deployers. So once that bucket falls down, it will empty into there and into the pipe system. And all of the pipes are connected to this pump here, and it will go into this aluminum drum. And then once that is done, and it drops its milk into the, into the item drain, then it'll pop onto this conveyor, and it will fall off the end here, but immediately get picked up by the conveyor right above it. And so then it'll go back over and back into the deployer and continue trying to milk until it gets another one. And then if there's a backup, then it just sits there. So it won't milk anymore, and it'll just sit there and wait until that's done. And then once that's free and there's enough space for it, it'll just continue on its way. So let's get this gold drum. We'll just fill it up, and then we'll look and, oh, it's already gone. Oh, you can see some others go. Yep. And they're back at it. They're back into there trying to get more milk. Now, I did initially have it set up where it was just a couple of long belts, and it would deliver everything into one item drain and then go into the aluminum drum. But the problem with that is that the deployer, if it has more than one bucket, it will not successfully milk the goat because there won't be space for that to go anywhere in the deployer. So the trick is you got to have just one and only one bucket per deployer. So each one of these is its own separate cell. And I'm powering all of these with just, some water wheels. I've got 3 separate water wheels that are powering the deployers, and then I've got another one just for the belts. If we get down into here, I can dig under here and we can climb down, and you can see the pipes go to every location. This is the water wheel that's powering all the belts. And then here's the one that powers the other third. And so I've got a deployer spaced out so the goats just kind of wander around and get milked. So automatic milking. It's been so nice. Makes it a lot easier. So I was always like really concerned about hitting the goats as I was trying to milk them. And I did hit them a few times. And it was kind of hard to grab all of them. And now anytime I need to make cheese, I can just come down here, grab 32 buckets worth, and I'm ready to go and make more cheese. So yeah, that's the secret project I was kind of working on. And I'm glad I did in secret because it took a really long time. And recording all of that would have been twice, 3 times as long as what it actually took. And the yaks, they're doing all right. Or not the yaks, the musk oxes here. We've got 3 babies, baby cow. The other 2 that have been born have been bulls. So I'm really, oh, sorry. Oh, no, I didn't mean it. So yeah, slowly but surely we're building up the musk oxes. The plan is, as soon as we have enough of them, that we can milk them and sustain ourselves on the cheese, we'll move them into here. And for now, we're just going to keep milking all the goats. And hopefully by the time the goats are all used up and their wear and tear is, 100%, we'll have enough of the musk oxes. Well, guys, I think we're going to call that an episode. I know it's been kind of a shorter episode than what I've been doing, but next episode, we are going to go into power, and it is going to be pretty long and intensive. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you later. Bye.